Are you stuck as to how to get the behaviour you want out of your animal? Does nothing you seem to try work? Are you struggling to find the answers from the people in your current network? If you are, then you're not alone. This was a problem that I faced when I trained my first ever animal. This is the story of me and Bob, the Wedge-Tailed Eagle. If you are unfamiliar with wedge-tailed eagles, they are an immensely impressive animal with a wingspan of up to 3 meters. Due to my, at the time, inability to be able to read animal behavior appropriately and consequently respond accordingly, I was really throwing myself in the deep end. And if things couldn't get worse, Bob was an individual bird that had caused serious training challenges for people in the past due to high levels of undesirable aggressive behavior. And Bob had decided that he seemingly didn't really want to work with me. Well, that's how I interpreted him flying at my face with his talons out when I went into his enclosure anyway. The techniques that I was being told to employ by the people working in my immediate vicinity at the time weren't working, in so much as there was no decrease in this highly undesirable behaviour, and I additionally just had this gut feeling that what they were telling me to do was fundamentally wrong. This didn't sit right with me, and I had this underlying nagging thought that I could not shake that somewhere, someone in the world would know how to train this bird, and they'll be able to do it using positive techniques and build a strong working relationship with it. And if that person could do it, then so could I. So I set out on a mission to find that information, travelling to other zoos and talking to other animal trainers. I was very lucky on my travels and I managed to meet the right individuals with amazing information, and my journey began. The first thing I did with Bob was that every time I walked past his holding space and he could see me, I would open the door just a crack and throw a small piece of food in. This was the beginning of me building my relationship with Bob the Wedge-Tailed Eagle. I wanted him to think, hey, here comes Ryan, something good is about to happen. I did this for a while and Bob's behaviour changed. It changed from him vocalising and flying towards me when I tried to enter his holding space to him seemingly anticipate that he was about to receive something of value. Over time, I would open the door a little bit more and a little bit more every time, and I would only throw the food in if and when he stayed on his perch. I got to the stage where I could do this and open the door and have him sit on the perch. I communicated to Bob over many repetitions that I wasn't planning on entering his environment, but if he stayed put, he would get some food. If he left his perch, however, I would just shut the door and give him another opportunity or come back at a later time. We got very good at this, and although I was extremely nervous, I knew that it was time to take it to the next level. I started by making these slight movements as if I was going to enter into his environment, and then I only threw the food down if he stayed put. And then I put 1 foot in his environment, and then 2, and then it came time for me to step into his holding space. I can tell you at this point in time, being so inexperienced and unsure of this process I was employing, I was a nervous wreck going into that exhibit. My small piece of confidence that I did have came from seeing that what I was doing was working. Entering that enclosure, my heart was beating so fast I thought it was going to explode out of my chest. But I entered, I had a plastic leaf rake with me just in case everything went pear-shaped and I had to protect myself. When I entered, Bob gripped the perch with his massive talons. I could see the wood splinter underneath him. He leant forward, his pupils dilated, and the feathers on the nape of his neck stood to attention. But he did not leave that perch. And I threw some food on the ground and I got out of there. I don't think I've ever moved as fast in my life. Once I was out, I looked in through the window and Bob was on the ground eating his food. That moment changed my life. I suddenly had 100% conviction, and even though I didn't completely understand this method I was employing, I knew that positive and unintrusive animal training was what I needed to do. Bob stopped gripping the perch and leaning forward with raised feathers and dilated pupils. And most importantly to me, I regained control of my own heartbeat. I started only delivering the food to Bob if he stayed put, with me taking a step forward in his direction. And then 2, and then 3, and before you know it, there I was, standing right in front of the bird, who not too long ago seemingly had some pretty bad intentions towards me. Since then, I've never looked back. Animal behaviour is not rocket science, it's behaviour science. And by learning and applying behaviour science, you can get similar results to the ones I just described. There are different methods of animal training out there. It's your job as an animal trainer to decide what one you want to use. And I strongly believe we have a duty to empower animals within our care by offering them the most positive and less intrusive methods possible through the science of positive reinforcement. It doesn't matter if it's a wedge-tailed eagle, a dog, a zebra, a goldfish, or a human. All animals are constantly moving towards the things they want and away from the things they don't. If you can put the pieces of the puzzle together and set an animal's environment up so the right behaviours are easier to perform and more reinforcing than the wrong behaviours that are harder to perform and less reinforcing, we guarantee you'll get amazing results. If you have enjoyed this video and want more free animal training content, then make sure to join our mailing list by clicking the link below. And also, like us on YouTube at Animal Training Academy. Until next time, remember to catch and celebrate, and good luck with all your training triumphs.